Here.
Trustees Cook,
Here?
Oppenheim, Takaoka,
Here.
Hebda,
Here.
Schultz,
Here.
Marport.
Here.
We have a quorum present. Would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any citizens that wish to address the board tonight?
You got to do the public.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Jesus, I got to do the
Got it,
public hearing,
got it.
yeah.
Roger, he's going back. We were supposed to have the budget hearing first.
What's it?
That's it, we're
I
good.
just told
We're good.
him he's good.
Okay. Well, maybe I should reconvene the board.
We need a motion to open the public hearing.
Okay.
So made.
Do we need to recess the board to do the public hearing?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion to open the public hearing for the 2018-2019 budget.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Public hearing's open. Anybody here to speak to this year's budget? Does the board have any comments or questions? No? Okay.
Mr. President, with nothing being said, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay,
Second it.
motion and a second. All that are in favor indicate with aye.
Aye.
Is there any nays? The ayes have it. Okay, the public hearing's over. The first item of business is no citizens wishing to address the board. Okay. Swearing in of Mark Fleischauer as village clerk, we're going to do that some other time.
Correct, thank you.
Okay. Proclamation, National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, April 8th through the 14th. Village President's Proclamation, National Public Safety Telecommunication Week, April 8th through the 14th, 2018. Emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, emergency medical services. When an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. The safety of our police officers and the firefighters is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the Vernon Hills Police Fire Communication Center. Public safety telecommunicators are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services. The public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link for our police officers and firefighters by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information, and ensuring their safety. Public safety telecommunicators for the Village of Vernon Hills, Lincolnshire, Libertyville, and the Countryside Fire Protection District have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients. Each telecommunicator exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job the past year. Now therefore be it resolved that the Village Board of the Village of Vernon Hills declares the week of April 8th through the 14th, 2018 to be National Public Safety Communicators Week in Vernon Hills in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism kept our villages and citizens safe. Signed this third day of April, 2018. Roger Byrne and Village Manager Mark Fleischauer. Chief? You want to take this, Chief?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. With me here today is Ed Mankey and Matt Kulig. Ed is our communications team supervisor. Matt is his able deputy And they really represent a much larger public safety communication team that can't be here because they're working or they're sleeping, because they work 24/7, 7 days a week, rain, shine, or otherwise. They're here. And we always talk about public safety being a team approach, and that's the public working with us. But what a lot of people forget is the men and women that not only answer the phones, they do so much more than dispatch. They truly are an essential part of delivering the service. Several times a week, I sit down in the room with their team and just watch them work, and I'm amazed at the level of support and interaction that is constantly going on. So as officers are responding to an event, they're getting essential information, they're getting background support. It makes the officers' job safer, it makes them more efficient, and most importantly, it provides a more effective public safety service to the residents. And we really absolutely would be ineffective without them. And oftentimes it's the street officer that might get some accolades, but it truly is all possible because of the telecommunicators and the professional level of service they provide. So personally, on behalf of all the men and women and all the members of public in Vernon Hills, thank you for your professionalism. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief. Mayor, if I could, there's one other kind of fun fact that Ed was kind enough to point out to me, that just a few weeks ago, we celebrated the 50th anniversary of the first 911 call. So in the late 60s, President Johnson established a Presidential Crime Commission, came up with a number of recommendations how to improve policing. Not surprising, communications is a big part of that. And so a recommendation to the president came that we should have a national 3-digit emergency phone number. The first phone call was made in February 1968 in a little town of Haleyville, Alabama. And now across the country, almost anywhere you go, with very few exception of some very dense canyons, very dense woods, you pick up the phone, you call 911, and you're getting emergency services. And when you think about it, it's really an amazing thing. So fun fact, but again, great job, guys. Thank you. Thank you very much. Would
You guys want to say anything?
Just appreciate being here. Start my
You gotta use the mic.
appreciate working for the village. I start my 24th year as a telecommunicator with the village on Tuesday. I've been in the profession for 30 years. It's exciting. It's fun. It's my calling. I enjoy it.
You want to state your name for the record
Edward Mankey, telecommunications supervisor for the village of Vernon Hills.
and your partner there?
My name is Matthew Kulig. I'm the Deputy Supervisor of Communications for Vernon Hills. I've been here for going on 16 years, 18 years total. And for a profession that often goes unseen, I just want to say thank you for the proclamation and recognizing us.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for doing the job. Obviously, you do it well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, Nikki Larson, Finance Director.
Okay, this was a quick one, just a housekeeping item. Originally, we were going to remind the board members to bring all of your tablets on April 17th. We are working through some access issues right now, and we want to make sure that when we roll out the email system, it rolls out smoothly. So we're actually looking at going live in May. So we'll be in touch with the board on the date that we will change over once we have more information.
Okay. Public Works Director, Village Engineer Dave Brown.
Thank you very much. I wanted to invite the board and residents and business owners to attend a open house. It's for the Fairway Drive Phase 1 process. Really, the focus is on the Lakeview improvements itself, but the meeting is at the Sullivan Center, the Park District Building, April 19th, from 5 to 7 o'clock. We invite everyone to attend. Really what the process is this is back from 2000 that we ended up having, back in 2000, the original Phase 1 study was performed. That's how we got Fairway Drive extended from 45 to Route 60. And just think of what improvements that has made to our village and taken pressure off of Deer Path Drive itself. So this is a continuation of the process, although it's 18 years later. We're looking to finalize that study. Once we get through the Phase 1, which is really the geometrics and the environmental impact studies, we move to Phase 2. We're anticipating getting the design approval right after this meeting and sometime in June. That allows us to move towards Phase 2 design bid documents and moving forward with the Lakeview improvements from Hawthorne Parkway south to the post office at Fairway. So we invite everyone to attend.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the board on this one? All right. Next is the omnibus.
Mr. President, at this point, we would need to go into closed session for a brief moment to discuss personnel pursuant to Section 2C1 of the Open Meetings Act.
Okay. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So made. Second.
Motion is second. Roll call, please.
Trustees Cook,
Aye.
Oppenheim, Takaoka,
Aye.
Hebda,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Markle.
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll be back.
Yeah, if I don't.
We're coming out of what? Recession?
Closed
Recess.
session, yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Like to reconvene the board. Is there a motion to that extent?
So made. Second.
Motion is second. Roll call.
Trustees Oppenheim, Takaoka,
Here.
Hebda,
Here.
Schultz,
Here.
Markwart,
Here.
Cook.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. First item is the omnibus vote agenda. Is there a motion to approve items A through R?
So made. Second.
Motion is second. Roll call.
Trustees Takaoka,
Aye.
Hebda,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Markwart,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Oppenheim.
Motion carries. Okay, next item is approval of village board meeting minutes of March 21st, 2018.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comments, questions, deletions, corrections? If not, roll call, please.
Trustees Cook,
Aye.
Oppenheim, Takaoka,
Aye.
Hebda,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Markwart.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is, I'd like to call the motion carries. Is there any new business to come before the board?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Trustee Schultz.
I'd just like to, since our last meeting on March 21st, there was the March for Our Lives on March 24th. I, along with Dr. Oppenheim and the village president, the three of us for sure, participated in that march. It was well organized and had somewhere around 2,000 people attending. Myself and my family made it all the way to the end, so I guess I'm not too decrepit. With that being said, though, the cause is just, and I am all in favor of any additional things that we can do to facilitate a reduction in gun violence in this country and in this state and in this general community. I'd like to take this opportunity, though, once again to express my sincere thanks to Heather Rabbit and Gail Taveras. I think last time I called her Gloria Taveras. I apologize. It's Gail Taveras and Heather Rabbit, who were the prime movers in organizing and getting everything put together to have a very successful march. I also want to redouble their thanks that they offered to the Public Works Department and the Police Department and everyone else from the village for assisting in facilitating the march. Again, it was extremely well attended. It was uneventful from the standpoint that there were no issues that I was made aware of, and I don't think there were any at all. And again, the cause is righteous and just in my mind, and I wish them and everyone else who participates towards an end of gun violence in this country the best wishes from this seat on this board. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just, and in an addendum to that, we got a, village manager, the board, but the chief and some of his people, we ought to have a sit-down, with, the park district and the schools, to see where there's, some deficits regarding, security at the schools. So, yeah, by all, we need to do that. So, and probably do it sooner than later, next week. I'm sure we could all get together next week and bring in what, superintendent of 128, superintendent of, 73. Who else we got to bring in? 103? I don't know.
Got to bring in
Well,
Diamond Lake too, because we got kids.
Yeah,
that go
well,
Diamond Lake
but I
and
mean,
Lake
some of that is outside
Right.
of our juris, it's outside our corporate limits, but,
Right.
to take it to a higher level, we could involve other towns, but I'd rather discuss right
76,
now.
We have
The kids that go to stuff
students who
in-
go to District
Oh, yeah,
76 in
sure, I
town.
understand
Yeah.
it, but I mean, all the school buildings themselves are physically out of town.
Mm-hmm.
So the ones we can address in a hurry, if we want to, are the ones in town.
Right, or
So-
strictly 73 and 128.
Yeah,
yeah.
so, okay, well, Chief, Mark, village manager interim, you want to set that up, please?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Is this, are you done, Jim?
Yes.
Okay. Chief Crease.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On that direct point, it's probably relevant to make a report that this is somewhat ongoing and would love to participate in any other forums. Myself, the fire chiefs, the Libertyville chief, we all participated in a review at the last high school district board meeting where they did a pretty comprehensive review and report to the public about the public safety initiatives. It's an ongoing effort. We're never done. We also attended, some of our staff attended a comprehensive meeting of the school officials at the high school and elementary district level just last week.
R2 district?
R2 districts.
Okay.
Put together a meeting where we again did a status and looked for continual improvements because there's always room to improve. But Mayor, I'd like to tell you what I told them is I've been really impressed with the work that the community has done. I think the methods and safeguards that have been put in place are really second to none. There's top-notch provisions put in place to help make sure our students are safe, but there's always room to improve. So
Well,
I love your
if we, here,
suggestion.
before we even meet then with them, why don't we meet? You tell me what good came out of these
Perfect.
meetings and with Mark. And if a trustee wants to attend, they're more than welcome if they want to volunteer. But,
We will set that,
without talking about it right now, there's deficiencies,
we'll set that up. You got it. Thank you.
yeah. Okay, trustee Cook.
Well, just to dovetail on what Chief was saying, and Mark Fleischauer can back up some of the history of it, the schools are constantly reviewing their policy constantly having drills, having been on the crisis team at Middle South for a number of years. After every drill, there was always a debriefing and constantly upgrading even just tiny little things. A perfect example would be that the classrooms at Middle South, in order to go on a quicker lockdown so that you don't have to find a key to lock your door and still have your door accessible, they came up with the idea of a magnetic strip to go over the strike plate so that your door is always locked, but the room is accessible when the magnetic strip is over the strike plate, and in case of a code red, you just yank the magnetic strip off and the door is now locked. And that was just one of the kind of little things that came up in reviewing a lockdown drill where some rooms didn't get locked quick enough because people had to find keys and that. So it's a process that has been ongoing.
Would
on
Would
a-
you
on
want to
a-
be the
on
board
an annual
rep at
basis.
this quick
I'd-
meeting?
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Not quick, but.
No, I'd be happy
Yeah,
to. I'd
that's
be
fine.
happy to. But it is something that I know, at least from District 73's point of view, is constant review, constant practice, and every time we, you know, as both chiefs here can point out, every time you find something that you didn't think of and fix it, and
Right.
so.
Okay. All right. Maybe it's going to be a small gathering. All right. Plus the resource officers.
Right, and that's another thing to point out is that, you know, this village has always had a school resource officer assigned to the high school and to the junior high schools for over 20 years. And those officers work with the schools to help them develop and fine-tune their safety plan. We do a number of safety drills in the schools during the course of the year. We do a rapid response drill with all of our neighboring communities as partners in how would we react and how would they react in a given situation if we had an active shooter. But it's always a good idea, as Chief Kreese says, it's always a good idea to review and re-review.
Well, and it's been a while since we did one of those joint ones where we actually had a live shooter drill with the Teacher Institute days.
High school just did this last week, so.
Trustee Hebda.
It may be wise to consider too the preschools at the Park District, the daycare at Lakeview. When they did the renovation, we are under a key code now for the preschool, but don't forget those other areas too that we've got children who are not maybe in the grammar schools and high schools, but in some of the other, to include them in that discussion as well.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Okay. Committee of the whole meeting is called to order.
Do I need a motion to adjourn?
Oh, didn't we already?
Yeah.
No. Motion to adjourn the regular board.
Recess.
Recess.
We got to recess again to go into closed
We
session.
have-
Are we coming out and taking any action on anything?
No.
No.
So
We can adjourn then.
So the motion stands to adjourn the regular board meeting.
Yeah. But we will go into closed session to discuss personnel.
Personnel and potential litigation.
Right. Okay, roll call.
Second.
Trustee Takio?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye.
Markwart?
Aye.
Cook?
Aye?
Oppenheim?
Motion carries. Meeting's adjourned. Look to call committee of the whole to order. First item is approval of the committee of the whole meeting minutes of March 21st, 2018.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and second. Comments, questions, corrections, deletions? If not, roll call.
Trustees Cook?
Abstain?
Hebda?
Aye.
Markwart?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye.
Oppenheim?
Motion carries. Request from Windy City Amusements in cooperation with the Vernon Hills Park District to operate an outdoor special event at 1000 Lakeview Parkway. Building Commissioner Atkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And the event would take place from Friday, May 18th through Sunday, May 20th. The hours of operation would be Friday, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., Saturday, 1 p.m. to 10 p.m., and Sunday, 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. The carnival would be staged on the parking lot formerly occupied by OPA, and as we all know, that's located at the northwest corner of Lakeview Parkway and Hawthorne Parkway. Customer parking would be provided on the adjacent Rust-Oleum property to the west, and permission has been granted from Rust-Oleum to use that for parking. The carnival would include adult and children's rides, along with games and food, and would not include animals. The special event application, along with the site plan, is attached to your packet. And tonight, if the COW feels that the temporary use is appropriate, staff should be directed to prepare a resolution approving the special event in accordance with the conditions that are outlined in your packet. And representatives from Windy City Amusements and Jeff Fujiro from the Park District are here if you have any other questions.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the board on this one?
Do the representatives want to give the sales pitch? Get any more time on board, on TV?
Well, I just want to let the public know that by doing this program, it's going to benefit Park District families who need scholarship monies, and we've got several people in those areas of need. So it's really for a good cause, and appreciate that Windy City has stepped up to take that cause for those families in need, because we do have families that need monies for different programming. So it's a good event, and I think it could be a future event that
Or to
ties.
help with,
It'll-
somebody pay tuition to go to
Yep.
preschool?
Well, tuition for preschool,
Sure.
for camps, for different league plays, all kinds of good stuff. So,
Sure.
and my recommendation is that possibly, too, that the Park District look at increasing its request next year under social service grants for CAP funding, because unfortunately, there's a need out there and people need
Sure.
help with that. So it's a good thing for our community.
With that being said, I make a motion to direct staff to create the necessary ordinance for approval at the next regular board meeting.
Second it?
Motion is second. Any further comments or questions? If not, roll call.
Trustees Takaoka?
Aye.
Hebda?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye.
Markort?
Aye.
Cook?
Aye.
Pop?
Abstain.
Motion carries. Go ahead. All right. What do we got, how many, you're gonna use some of the existing property plus the new 2 acres? You know, in other words, Jeff?
The basketball.
Jeff? Are you gonna use like where the basketball courts are too, or just the new piece of land?
Just the parking lot
Yeah, okay.
that used to be formerly known as OPA.
That's what, two-
So none of
How many
the,
acres is that, 2?
it's about 3 acres.
3 acres?
Just it'll be, okay, so Tony's telling me a little bit over on the grass. So where the stage, where the stage normally
See
is,
where
and
the
it-
sidewalk is?
yeah.
So that'll be blocked?
We'll be south of that. Yeah, yeah, that path will be blocked.
Yeah, you'll be north of the sidewalk for some things.
Correct.
Yeah.
Very, very minimal.
Yeah, that's
You
fine.
saw the, I think you included
there's the
the
map.
floor, there's a
Yeah.
map in there, so,
Okay,
Okay.
okay,
thanks.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, next is,
Parking lot.
Request,
next is a request from Remke Industries Incorporated for approval of site and landscape revisions to allow parking lot expansion at 730 Lakeview Parkway. And are you gentlemen here for that one? Yes. Sure, come on up. You got it, Mike?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Rumpke Industries recently moved into this location, which, as you can see on the map in front of you, is immediately adjacent to the police telecommunication building. They are proposing to add additional parking spaces to accommodate the number of employees that are planned for this location. 18 parking spaces would be located to the rear of the building as shown on the screen in front of you. The parking stalls will be 9 feet wide by 20 feet deep in compliance with village requirements. From a landscaping perspective, 10 trees would be removed to accommodate the new parking area, and they would be replaced with new landscaping as shown on the landscape plan in front of you. In addition, the existing landscaping on the remaining portions of the site would be replaced and/or upgraded in accordance with village requirements, and you can tell landscaping in the front yard and immediate adjacent side yards, they'd be upgrading that landscaping as well. And the same would apply to the parking and walking surfaces. We would walk the site, and if there was any deficiencies that were identified by a village official, then they would repair or upgrade those deficiencies in accordance with village requirements. So for tonight, if the council feels the parking lot expansion and landscape revisions are appropriate, staff should be directed to prepare an ordinance approving the amended site and landscape plan, subject to the conditions that are outlined in your packet. And representatives of Remke Industries are here to answer any questions that you may have.
Any comments or questions from the committee? You guys want to identify yourselves for the record?
Okay. Taylor Eschbach, Kimley Horn and Associates, Civil Engineering Consultant for Remke.
Okay.
Mark Sweeney, President of Remke.
Okay, what do you guys do?
We, in this
Need to be
location-
close to the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry. In this location, we assemble and ship electrical fittings. We've been in business for 55 years. We have a machining operation in Wheeling, which we'll keep there. And, you know, it's really light assembly type thing, and our corporate headquarters is here now, too. So
Okay,
it's worked out great, and we've only been there a month, but it's working well.
okay, all right. If there's no comments or questions,
Just all the stormwater has been calculated and we're all in good shape there?
Yeah, actually, I want to compliment them on how they approach this. It's not just floodplain, but floodway, and so they went through the precision of how they would place the parking lot outside. They had to shift it. Floodways are a bump up to the IDNR. We were able to work through it, so they met the requirements, and so we're comfortable with it moving forward.
With that being said, there is definitely no reason not to go forward. Therefore, I make a motion for staff to prepare the necessary ordinance for approval at the next regularly scheduled meeting.
there's a second?
Second.
Motion is second. And I'll make one comment regarding the actual, flood water. We had, what, 8 inches, and it all goes to the baseball fields. Well, I mean, it's not a bad thing, you know? Yeah, so I mean, that should be some solace to these gentlemen, because that was a doozy. Okay, roll call.
Trustees Takaoka?
Aye.
Hebda? Aye. Schultz?
Aye.
Markwart?
Aye.
Cook?
Aye.
Oppenheim?
Aye.
Motion carries. Welcome
Thank you,
to
gentlemen.
town.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Move it on from Wheeling. to here.
okay. All right, is there a motion to adjourn committee to whole and go into closed session to discuss personnel and potential litigation?
So made.
Second.
Motion is second. Roll call, please.
Trustees Takaoka?
Aye.
Hebda?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye.
Markwart?
Aye.
Cook?
Aye.
Oppenheim?
Aye.
Motion carries. We are not coming out to discuss any other building, business, and so thank you and good night. Okay.